Coming up, we're having a family get-together, right? Make sure that you're there, Arya. A wife like you not showing up to see her in-laws would make a scene for all of us to laugh at. It's already happened plenty of times before now, where you come up with some reason and run off from the rest of us. This time, I want you to be there, please. Sylvia, I was never really running away from any of those get-togethers. Okay, I know that you had work or whatever going on. That's always been your go-to excuse for getting out of things. But it's a good excuse considering that I'm telling the truth about having to go to work. You can stop lying to me about that already. Are you coming this time? Are you not coming? What's going to be your answer this time? When is the gathering supposed to be happening? Next weekend? You're not going to be avoiding all of us this time. And another thing, I want to know why Brandon, of all people, would rather play your ally than side with his own mother in all of this. He is my son in our family, yet he doesn't seem to understand anything. It might have something to do with the fact that Brandon understands that I'm busy with my job a lot of the time, and that's why he sides with me. You are always going on and on about this job of yours, Arya. But your number one job as a wife is to listen to what your in-laws say to you without even letting one word slip out of that mouth. That may be how your family all operates, but that's not something I've ever heard about before. Oh, and another thing. When you come out here to see the rest of the family, don't say a word about the allowance you're handing us. I don't have a reason to talk about any of that, so don't get all antsy about it. But I do have one question regarding that allowance. How much longer do you guys need us to send you the money? Also, have you really been talking with your husband at all about it? Every time I meet with him, he never says a word to me. Are you suggesting that I've been lying to him? I've been telling him about all of the money. About things like when the next allowance will be getting to us. Well, now I'll have to think about whether or not I want to keep talking about it with him anymore. Anyhow, this upcoming gathering better have you at it. Do you understand me? You're going to be here today, right? Everyone is really looking forward to seeing you here since it's been such a long time now. They all want to see what kind of horrible wife you've become after spending all that time avoiding everyone here. Why would you say something like that? Have I done anything wrong? I'm just speaking the truth is all. We all know that you don't care at all about your in-laws and that you'd rather be off on your own, only taking care of yourself, right? But thankfully, I am a very kind and thoughtful mother-in-law, which means that I'm going to forgive you for all of that. And to make sure you understand just how kind of a woman I am, I made sure that today everyone would be eating high-end filet mignon. That's why all of my family is really looking forward to this gathering and to see you here. Oh, and since you're Brandon's wife, you're going to be filling up your stomach on all kinds of high-end salts, all right? What do you mean by that? You never seem to be able to take a hint. You are nothing like the rest of my family, all right? It would be a waste of money to let you eat some of the finest meats that I can buy. So the only thing a stranger like you will be eating today is the steak salts that everyone else could care less about. Really? Did you just call me a stranger? Yes, I did. I sure did. A terrible wife like yourself means nothing to my family, and that's why we can't even think of you as part of us. Ugh, why did my son ever end up marrying a woman like you in the first place? Besides the fact that his wife is completely useless, he is a perfect little man. Is that right? Then forget about your allowance. What? If you're going to say that I'm not your family or anything anymore, then there's no reason for me to really be sending you any more money. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, to me, you are nothing more than a stranger, but to you, your in-laws should all be still considered your family. Well, that's just common sense, right? So you have the responsibility as my son's wife to keep that money coming to us. I completely understand your way of thinking, Sylvia. So please allow me to go and have a word with Brandon about this. Sure, go ahead. But that's not going to change anything for you. That boy will understand my way of thinking completely and won't let you get away with such a lawless action. Anyway, you better be at this family gathering today, Arya. Brandon, where are you right now?
I just finished up getting something from the grocery store, and I will be on my way home. What's going on?
I was just texting with your mom a second ago.
My mom, huh? I'm sure this isn't going to be good then, right?
Well, she started off by asking me if I'd be making it to the family gathering today. But then soon after that, she made it very clear to me that I'm not considered family to her.
Huh? She went that far with you now?
Yeah. She told me that to make her family all happy, she went and bought a bunch of really expensive filet mignon. But since she doesn't see me as a part of the family, the only thing I'll be allowed to eat is the steak salt.
Do you want to just stay home from that stupid event?
Honestly, I really don't want to go to that stupid event. But if I don't show up this time, then things will only become worse the next time around. Right? I was being honest this whole time about having work all the time and never being able to attend those gatherings. So this time I should actually go. I think the reason she said something like that to me, about me not being family to her, is because I haven't been going out to see anyone recently. Maybe it was just meant as a joke or something?
Well, if that was meant to be a joke from her, it was not a very funny one. But if you're saying that you'd like to go this time, then I guess we're going. I myself haven't really been going home to my parents all that much recently. I'd like to see them and check out how things are going there.
Check on how things are going? Just in general?
You know better than I do that there are plenty of things wrong with my mom, right? I want to go and check and see if she's been telling the truth at all to the rest of the family, or if she's still hiding all her problems. In the past, lots of people had been hurt by what she was doing. So I just have to make sure things aren't getting bad again.
Is that right?
Well, I guess today we're really heading over to my parents' house then. But if there's anything that makes you want to go home while we're there, let me know right away. Then we can get the heck out of there.
Arya, you really have no guts, do you? Getting picked on by your mother-in-law is something you need to deal with as my son's wife. What were you thinking showing up here today only to turn right back around and leave like that? Are you trying to make me look bad in front of the rest of my family? I never thought that you'd actually have a plate ready for me at the dinner table filled with nothing but garlic salt. Everyone else had a nice steak and vegetables on their plates, yet I had nothing more than salt and a shot glass filled with water. What you've done hasn't only pissed me off, but it's upset your own son now as well. And when Brandon starts to get upset like that, your job as his wife is to make him settle down, all right? You really are so useless. Always blaming others for your own faults. Could you tell me why you always have to treat me like this, Sylvia? Well, there's not any kind of deep meaning to it, actually. I just happen to not really like you is all. I had made such a fine young man, and you came out of nowhere and completely ruined him. I don't want some thief like you becoming a part of my family. So why should I have to cater to you when it's much more easy to just treat you like said thief? Also, the reason my son never comes around his own parents anymore is because of you, right? Who is the real menace to this family, I wonder? I do apologize for all the times I've not been able to come out to see you all, but all those times I had really been busy with work and couldn't afford to leave that work behind. However, just because of that, you've gone and treated me like a complete stranger. Actually, much worse than a complete stranger. And now you've just gone and done it in front of everyone else in the family. I really don't want to say something like this to you, Sylvia, but that money you're being given every month is the money I've worked countless hours for. What was that? So now you're going to try playing the victim here? The only reason I gave you all that salt is because you've been getting a little plump lately. You should be very thankful that I was so thoughtful today, yet for some reason you don't seem to care at all for my thoughts on your figure. Well, if that was the case, then why salt of all things? Wouldn't that only make me fatter in the end? Ugh. I'm done with this, Sylvia. It seems that no matter what I say, no matter what I do, your way of thinking is not going to change. Would you stop trying to play things off like I'm the one in the wrong here? Since you're no longer going to view me as a part of your family, I'd like you to stop contacting me from now on. So please leave me alone. If you ever need anything from us or have something to say, bring it up with Brandon. Oh, running away from us again, I see. Well, that's totally fine with me. As long as you keep that money coming to me, I won't say another word to you. Excuse me? This month's allowance has still not entered my bank account at all. Not even $1. Did I forget to mention to you that it's your responsibility to be sending me that money each and every month since you're Brandon's wife? If you're not going to keep up with your responsibilities, then I'm going to have you divorced from my son. Now, this is just what I remember, but I believe that last time I told you that I'd stop sending you money from now on, right? Or did I perhaps forget to say that to you? I don't ever remember you saying something like that to me. And had you, I would have most definitely said no to that. Let me ask you something, Sylvia. Could you please tell me why exactly I have to keep sending you an allowance each month? Because I don't quite remember what the reason was, if there even is one. You don't remember? My reason is because you're my son's wife. And your primary job as his wife is to shut up and listen to what his mother tells you. Then can you please explain to me why over time you've been asking for more and more money from me? What? At the start, you were only asking for around $400 a month from me. But over time, you continued to ask for more and more until it came to around $1,500 a month. Do you really need that much money from me? I told you this already. There are still some payments left over on the loan we took out when we had part of the house reformed. And with my husband's income only, there were parts of our life where we felt a little uncomfortable because we were so close to not having enough money. I heard that reason from you before, but are you really only using this money I'm giving you on paying off that loan? What are you trying to say? Well, it's just, ever since I started to send you money each month, you've been becoming more and more outgoing and overbearing. Also, you've been trying so hard to not let your husband know anything about the money I'm sending to you. You must have another reason for why you need this money from me, and one that would upset your husband very much if he were to find out, right? There's no reason like that. But you never say anything about this to him. You still understand that, right? Well, that's too bad, because I've already brought it up with him. What did you just say? I have told you again and again not to say anything about this to him. You really are completely useless to me. Let me just say, it wasn't me that went to him about all of this. He realized that something was up and came to me asking some questions about it all. He said that he noticed how much flashier your choice of clothing had become and wanted to know from me if there was anything going on with you. He then said to me that if there is anything going on between you and my family regarding money, to let him know about it. So then, you told him about the allowance? I did. It's the truth after all. And then after telling him about that money I've been giving you, he started to tell me some things that I had no idea about. There's never been a point this whole time your husband has been paying off that loan where you've handed him any of the money to help pay it off. So let me ask you one last time, where is that money I give you every month going? You lied to me about that helping pay off that loan, also that you could milk all that money off of me, right? Recently, I've been wondering why he's been so cold around me. So this has all been because of you, huh? Don't start blaming me for your issues, Sylvia. Anyhow, I'm not going to be sending you any more money for the time being, as I do not support you going out and wasting it on things that are not related to your husband and the house. So, you have no idea what could happen to you by turning your back on me and not listening to what I've said. I'm going to make sure you and Brandon are no more. Brandon, have you finished up your work for today yet? I have something you need to listen to. Your wife, Arya, she's being a real jerk right now. She's your wife, and yet she thinks she can turn her back on me and walk away. And the things I told her to keep a secret from your father, she told him about. That was supposed to be a secret between her and I as women. She is stepping completely out of line right now. Do you not see what she's doing is totally crazy?
So, this is about the money.
Oh. So you already know about this?
Of course I do. To be frank, from the start of all of this, I was against her ever sending you any money. But Arya told me that she'd been so busy with work for a long time that she was never able to go out and see anyone from the family. So she said this was the least she could do to help you out. And that's what led me to allow her to start sending you an allowance.
What?
I'm sure that you never knew about that, did you? Well, you just went and treated her like crap and called her a stranger in front of the whole family. I was not going to stop Arya from giving you money because that's what she felt compelled to do. But then you lied to her about needing it for a loan that Dad has been struggling to pay off. Instead, you used it for yourself. We are not going to be sending you any more money ever again.
No way, Brandon! Why have you turned into such a reckless little man now? Oh, you used to be such a good little boy to me.
A good little boy? All I was to you was your puppet. A doll that you used to do whatever you wanted with.
A puppet?
I'm not lying, right? That's the truth. In the past, there was never a moment in my life where I thought I could get away with going against you. Things like what I was allowed to learn, what I was allowed to watch, what I was allowed to do. All of that was controlled by you down to the finest detail, and if I didn't do exactly as you said, then you'd throw a fit and start to make an animal of yourself.
That'll never...
Don't you dare tell me all of that was never happening. All of that time I did all those things for you and achieved all those accomplishments for you, you never congratulated me. You only cared about yourself, and when I'd do something amazing, you'd take credit for it and never even made me feel as though I did something myself. In your mind, all I was a puppet that you can use to make yourself feel good. No, wait, that's not true actually. All I was to you was your trophy that you can brag about with all your friends and family. Never actually bothered to consider how I might be feeling.
Why are you saying all of that right now? I gave you all of my love back then.
All your love? Are you kidding me now? If you're really going to call all of that love for me, then do you remember what you said to me that one day when I lost a swimming match back in high school?
I wonder what it could have been. Oh, something like, great work, or maybe nice try, something along those lines?
Not even close. You said this to me, Mom. You have caused me a lot of embarrassment this time, and if you keep this up, then I won't be able to brag to everyone in our neighborhood anymore. Also, later that night, you didn't make me anything for dinner, and you would not let me make anything for myself. Back then, I still thought of you as my mom, and never wanted to say anything about the way you spoke about and treated me. But after what you did this time, lying about why you needed the money and treating my wife like a joke, I'm done with you. Arya and I are both going to cut ties with you for good now.
No way! Oh, you can't! Oh, don't leave me, Brandon! If you do that, you're going to regret everything.
And if I do regret this, then so be it. But right now, in this moment, I think leaving you for good is the best choice I'll make in my life. I'm no longer going to listen to anything else you have to say to me, just like you never listened to Arya and I. It's over with.
If people start to find out about all of this, do you have any idea what people in the neighborhood and around town will think?
Damn. So even now, with your son and his wife leaving you, the only thing you can think about is yourself and how others view you.
No, wait. Oh, that's not what I meant. That was just a reflex of sorts, and it slipped out of my mouth. I didn't actually mean to say that.
If that was a reflex of yours, then that means that you are accustomed to only thinking about yourself, and therefore do not care about how Arya and I feel. I'm done listening to your excuses. Don't ever talk to Arya and I ever again.
How dare you say something like that to your mother? I was the one that raised you, and do you feel any thanks for all of that? You're a terrible child. No matter what it is, this is all your fault. I've now gone and lost my son, who once loved me more than anyone else. And now a lot of people in my family are not talking to me and will only roll their eyes when I try and talk to them. Had you just stayed in line, never complaining about anything I was doing and listened to me, none of this would have happened. How dare you cause my life to fall into ruins? Sylvia, you're still whining about how all of this is my fault? So none of what Brandon was telling you about actually made it into that thick head of yours? Huh? I don't want to hear any of that from you now. Especially since you're the bitch who went and took everything from me. Honestly, Sylvia, shut the hell up. I am utterly tired of listening to you go on and on about how this is all my fault and that you could never be responsible for making everyone want to hate you. Do you still think that I know nothing about the kind of indecent witch you are deep down? I know about all the things you did to your son as he was growing up, and I have to say it really pisses me off thinking that I still have to talk with you. What? Tell me what was so bad about the things I did that you'd be pissed off with me. All I did was act like a good mother and raise my boy into the man he is now. I will not let anyone complain about the things I did for him. Well, that's too bad, because I'm going to complain. I'll have you know that I freaking hate people like you. People that think they can just use other people and abuse other people and steal from them when they gain something you want. You must have no idea what it means to have some freaking dignity, do you, Sylvia?